Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Hari Om. Delighted to be here. On a yet another session on Ramana's Atma Vichara series of talks. One of the things what we are trying to do with Atma Vichara, the purpose of Atma Vichara, as we saw it in the last session, should result in the knowledge of the self, Atma Jnana. So, Atma Vichara should lead to Atma Jnana, the knowledge of the self. Interestingly, this Atma Vichara, as we saw it in the last session, the purpose of Atma Vichara is to demolish all the notions we have about us. So, leading to no notions about us, which we defined as a thoughtless state, which is also known as meditation. So, in the thoughtless state, what happens is when you are free of all notions about you, you are directly experiencing who you are. And that is what Atma Jnana. So, this Atma Jnana happens in the silence, when there are no thoughts. So, no thoughts about anything is the thoughtless state, is the ultimate end of meditation, resulting in Atma Jnana. So, Atma Vichara should lead to Atma Jnana. And how it happens is Atma Vichara leads to shedding off all the thoughts, wrong notions we have, leading to silence. And in that silence, when there is no noise to disturb you, you are in touch with who you are, direct experience. So, it is our day-to-day experience that we think about many things, many thoughts. So, if you analyze our thoughts, naturally we know there are many thoughts. And many thoughts about what? About many things. But the state where we are trying to go to is no thoughts about anything. From many thoughts about many things, we are trying to get to no thoughts about anything. So, many thoughts about many things to no thoughts about anything cannot happen straight away from many thoughts about many things, you cannot directly go to no thoughts about anything. One of the most important and intermediary step is where from many thoughts about many things, you get to a state where you entertain only one thought about one thing. Entertain only one thought about one thing. Now that technique is what we are going to discuss today, which eventually will lead to no thoughts about anything, resulting in Atmajnana, silence and Atmajnana. So, one thought about one thing, that technique is traditionally called japa, where you repeatedly chant a mantra. The mantra you chant, you can choose what is conducive to you depending on who your Ishta Devata is. For example, if Lord Shiva is your Ishta Devata, then the appropriate mantra would be Om Namah Shivaya. So Om Namah Shivaya is a mantra. What is a mantra? We can talk about it. That will be another session altogether. So for the purpose of this exercise, one thing you can be sure is that by remembering which, it saves you. Mananatrayate iti mantra. Meaning, by continuous remembrance, it saves you. So it saves you from what? From the samsara. How does it happen? By enabling Atmajnana. So when you have self-knowledge, Atmajnana, then you cross the ocean of samsara. And mantra helps you to do that. So by repeated remembrance. So here in japa, you choose a mantra. So if it is Lord Shiva, if your Ishta Devata, as I said, Om Namah Shivaya. If it is Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. So there are Om Sri Saravana Bhavaya Namaha if Lord Muruga is your Ishta Devata. So whichever mantra, you choose one mantra and then you repeatedly chant that mantra following a particular technique. What that technique is, you focus on the shabda of the mantra. So when you are going to chant, let's say Om Namah Shivaya, you entirely focus on that sound syllables, Om Namah Shivaya. So your focus is, your attention, your focus, everything is on that mantra, the sound of that mantra. Then what happens is that before you chant it again, you leave a gap. So you say Om Namah Shivaya, then leave a gap. Then Om Namah Shivaya. So your attention is on the Om Namah Shivaya, the sound form, the syllables, and the actual sound, etc. Then you leave a gap. That gap is where you don't say anything. So your focus and attention is on the silence. And then you are going to chant again, Om Namah Shivaya. So this is the technique. You continuously do this. One of the things which we need to remember is that when we give ourselves a task which has to be done repeatedly, then our mind, our thought process sets in that. It gets into a rhythm where you are able to continuously keep your attention on the task. Without a task in hand, it's difficult to give your attention continuously on something. But if a task is given to be done, where you have to remain alert and continuously do this, then your attention naturally stays there. So you're using that technique of doing a task, and the task you are going to do here is continued chanting of a mantra in this prescribed method where you utter the sound of the mantra, and when you are uttering the sound, your attention is there on that sound and the form of the sound, and then there is a silence, and your attention is there on the silence, and then again your attention is again on the mantra as you chant the mantra. So your attention is alternating between the mantra, the silence, the mantra, the silence, and it goes on and on and on. Now this is what you call japa. Now to share with you what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has said about this japa in the text called Upadesa Undiyar in Tamil and Upadesa Sara in Sanskrit, where he says this japa can be done in 3 methods, where he says Ucha japa, then the second method is Manda japa, and the third method is Manasa japa. So Ucha japa is chanting the mantra, as the word Ucha denotes, a little loud. Meaning, when I say Ucha or loud, we should not run away thinking that I should chant it loudly so that my neighbor can hear it, that I am doing japa. No. What is meant by Ucha or loud is that when you chant it, if somebody is seated next to you, that person is able to hear it. That's all. You don't want to tell the whole town that you are chanting japa. So as long as it's loud enough like that is good enough. The idea being, when you are chanting the japa as Ucha japa, where the whole idea is not for the person next to you to hear it, for you to hear it. So as you chant, you are hearing it. So your ability to focus becomes a little easy, because in the initial stages, when the mind is trying to go in all directions, you are giving the mind the task of not only chanting but listening to what you are chanting. So your tongue, your mind, your attention is on the tongue to generate this sound, and your ears are also on the same thing, hearing the same thing. So your ability to tune in is a little easier in the initial stages. So that's the benefit of this Ucha japa. It's not that somebody else should hear it, but because I can hear it, I can retain my attention within this without letting my attention stray away into any other objects. So this is what you call Ucha Japa. So where you chant it loud, as I said, loud enough so that person who is seated next to you can hear it, but idea is for you to hear it, and then you leave the silence, and then you will go on doing this. So by doing repeated practice of this, what happens is you are managing to control your thought process, or to put it in another way, you are managing to control the mind. But I didn't want to use the phrase controlling the mind, rather I would use managing to control my thought process, because I am doing the thinking. It's not I am trying to control something other than me, my own thought process. Now I am learning to manage it. So whenever you practice something repeatedly, then you become skilled at it. You gain mastery over it. Whether even the physical movements, if you are practicing a new sport, etc., continuous repeated practice enables you to be more skilled in doing what you are doing. So here, this repeated practice enables you to control your thought process as to when to think and what to think. So when you say, I want to think of this Shabda, then when the mantra is uttered, I want to think of this Shabda and my attention is there. So when to think? When I want to utter this mantra. And where should my attention be? On that mantra itself. And when not to think? I want the silence. So when to think and what to think and when not to think. So you are training your mind into this. When not to think, when to think, and when you have to think, what to think. Not any old thing. Only this mantra. And that also when I want to. When I don't want to, silence. So the repeated practice of this gives us this mastery over our own thought process. We gain control in this manner. When to think and what to think and when not to think. Then this is what is called Ucha Japa. And the other methods also is actually to perfect your control what you have, but they become a little bit more refined. As you gain mastery using Ucha Japa, then the next thing is Manda Japa. Manda Japa is, again you utter the mantra, but here what you utter, your neighbor can't hear it, but you can hear it. So it should be uttered softly within your lips. So you can hear it, but your neighbor can't hear it. The idea is not to hide it from your neighbor. You utter it softly, so only you can hear it, means then now you have to pay more attention to utter it softly, and also you have to pay more attention to listen to it. So you can't be distracted by any other sounds. So you are paying more attention. You become more focused in the mantra japa compared to Ucha Japa, because now your degree of attention have to be greater to ensure this sound comes out, but not loud where somebody else can hear it. And also your attention is there listening to the sound very carefully so that you can hear it. So here the difference between Ucha and Manda Japa is that in terms of sound it's softer, but by the time you get to the Manda Japa, you have gained more mastery over retaining your attention where you want it. So you have, by the time you get to the manda japa, your mastery over your thought process has increased because your ability to keep your attention where you want to increases. So that is manda japa. So this is a progressive method. You start with Uchcha, then you go to Manda. So when by the time you progress to Manda Japa, your mastery over your thought process, your ability to control your attention has increased. We are looking at Japa as a technique for Atma Vichara. And let's look at some more details about this technique in the next session. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.